So it says meeting is now streaming live on YouTube.
I think I'm saying that. I just want to double check the YouTube link.
Okay. And mine's recording on here too, so that's good.
We can, if you have the ability, let's let Linda in.
Okay, and I've got Paul in here too.
Okay, yeah, it's working. We're good. So
Perfect.
let me just, I'm going to hang up with you on the phone.
Okay.
I'm just going to mute myself and turn my screen off until we're ready, and I will see you soon.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.
Bye.
Why do they always put it as?
How do I get my picture?
Okay, so go at the bottom. Linda, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, if you go to the bottom of the screen, there should be a video, like a little camera.
Yep.
Just press that one.
Oh,
So everyone's aware, we are currently recording and live right now too, just because we wanted to make sure that was running before we went. So I just wanted to make you guys all aware.
Okay, so noted.
Okay.
Oh, Denise,
Yeah?
I don't have the outstanding checks portion for $1,444.63.
You don't have the checks?
No, I don't have that. I don't have that detail page. Where do I find that at? Or when I do my report, you can follow along with me. The outstanding checks. Usually there's a detail page.
Let me see if I can find it on here.
Just before we get started.
Paul, is your volume up?
Oh, hang on.
I can hardly hear you.
Hang on. How about now?
No,
Can you hear me?
very, very soft spoken.
Yeah,
Well,
Denise, that wasn't included in the package that came. I just went and checked as well. We have the report and then we have the transactions, like the statement from WFCU, but I don't see the outstanding.
Okay.
checks.
Do you know what that would be labeled when Mike sends over all the reports in here?
Let me see if I can find based on what, because I think I got Mike's email as well. Give me 1 second.
Okay. I can,
Denise, can you hear me okay?
yeah, I can hear you.
Linda, can you hear me okay?
No, it's very, very faint. But my speakers say it's at 100%. So
Is your volume is it 50%, 75%?
it says my speakers are 100.
Well, I'm not sure. I don't know what to tell you. Hang on a minute.
That's okay.
How about now?
Well, I'll get in closer.
I just sent you guys the downloads that Mike sent me. Maybe they're in there.
So Denise, if you go to the email where Mike or whatever you have for the package that Mike sends us,
Yeah.
okay, it's going to be under, I'm looking at it right now. It's the Tecumseh BIA finance report. It's on tab 2, detail outstanding payables.
Okay, that's what I'm on right now. I didn't.
Yeah, you just didn't see the second thing. So next time, just also include that second page
Okay.
and that detailed outstanding portion. And then for tonight, what we can do is we'll just have to add this in as supplementary, and then we can share your screen
Okay.
and Paul can follow along there. Does that make sense, Paul?
Yeah, that's fine. When I call for it, you can just display it. Just so the rest of the board members can see it.
Okay, I'll stick this in here then. Is that where- Should go. Where is this?
That's not.
Hey, Linda. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Who is it?
Hey, Jules.
Oh, Jules.
Hey, Paul, how you doing?
Not too bad, thanks. How you doing?
Holding on.
Where
Okay.
are you, Jules?
In my car on the way to get a signature.
Usual office.
You know what? I get better peace and quiet in here than anywhere else.
Hi, Andrew.
Hello, how are you?
Hey, Andrew.
Hey, Andrew.
So we have 3 regrets tonight. So
My,
Who do you have?
I've got Jessica, Scott, and Joe just sent his over.
Okay, because I also have Shane may be able to make it. Did Scott tell you he wasn't coming? Did we discuss that?
Yeah, so Scott told me last week.
Okay, so we got 4. Who else? Where are we at right now?
So
3, 4.
Well, I'm big enough for
We
2.
need one more board member, and we have quorum. So,
Jim is coming.
okay, perfect. Thank you, Andrew.
Did you
Andrew.
say no for Shane?
Shane said he's going to try to be here, but he was still out on deliveries like 15 minutes ago. Is Brian joining us tonight?
Yeah, he should be.
I thought this was the night Andrew couldn't make it.
Yeah.
Andrew, didn't you say the
Oh,
third
yeah.
week?
Yeah. So I ended up asking my other group if they had that. I chair a meeting on this time slot, and they didn't have any urgent business, so I was able to come tonight, and we'll see what happens in future months.
Oh, thank you, Andrew.
glad you're able to make it.
yeah.
How'd the day finish out with dollars, Denise?
We're at 17,250. I cannot even express to you
Well,
busy today was.
you know, as much as I'd like that momentum to stay, but I don't want to run out too early in the months. But hopefully, you know, we're seeing that huge push today because we've been closed for so long. So
Mhm. Oh
I
yeah,
just
This
wanna-
was January, right?
yeah.
We didn't sell January.
that's right.
I just want to know before we press record. Oh, is it live?
We
Is it
are.
recording?
Yeah, we're live. We wanted to make sure we were ready. So sorry.
Forget it.
Do you have a joke or what?
No, I was just gonna say. I remember when I said we're gonna hit 50,000 into Comfy dollars, that everybody kind of laughed and said it was gonna pie in the sky idea. And now
I
we're
remember.
what? You remember that clearly, eh?
I remember. Yep.
Dreams do
You had a
come
dream, Jules.
true. Dreams do come true after all.
Oh, Jules, it's your turn to sell tomorrow.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I am abiding by Desjardins COVID rule of not leaving my little cubicle office at home.
For you.
Yeah, we blew through 1 month in less than 6 hours.
Yeah, people have been waiting.
Yeah.
Well, be ready with these sold out for February. See you in March.
Already made the graphics, so it's good to go. Oh God.
So how are we gonna format that where January has been paid or January is done, February, which we're on now, if we run out, let's say mid-February as an example.
Well, fortunately, we're already past mid-February.
Okay, so let's say we, another 5 days, we cash out for the month of February. Do we shut down the month of February or do we keep selling and go into March?
February is done. Budget's over. We'll see you guys next month.
Okay, all right, good.
Inventory's
That's what I
out.
thought. Okay, I just wanted to double check.
Yep.
That was my understanding.
So this month we were able to do a little more because we had January's inventory and wanted to put that back out there into the market for the members, of course. So we ran with that today.
Okay, good. And kudos for Paula coming in to help.
Done.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, don't worry, Paul. Denise has got this.
Jim, are you there? Can you hear me? You are added to my agenda here. Tonight, I don't believe there's any disclosure of pecuniary interest, and we don't have any delegates as well. So we will jump right into our executive nominations. You know, I was hoping to have a full board around for this one, but we have discussed it for a few meetings, and I'm confident everyone who could attend kind of knows, based on discussions, the direction we were looking to go tonight. So either way, Denise, I will hand the floor over to you for executive nominations.
Okay. So first and foremost, for chair nomination, I'm going to ask all the directors to state their names, place of business, and a short description of themselves. So I'll start with Paul.
All right, thank you. Paul Bastani, the owner of Paul Bastani Real Estate Brokerage here in town. Currently, I sit in the position of treasurer for the BIA.
Not anymore. Not effective right now. Denise, are we just going over each of us, or do you want the nominees for chair?
Well, I was going to go over each of you guys and then the nominations to follow.
I know we're a short board, but
yeah. Linda?
Linda Proctor, I represent Kim Dean Kim Dean Law Office in Tecumseh.
Okay. And Candace?
Hi, Candace Dennis. I represent On the Dark Side Tanning Salons. For the board, I've chaired the board for the last little while, at least the last few years, and have served this board since 2013. I look forward to the next year and years to come that we continue to serve and make a difference for our members in Tecumseh.
All right. Jules? Jules, can you hear me? Oh, there you go.
Sorry, I just couldn't find the mute button. My name is Jules Shampoo. I represent Armando's Pizza in Tecumseh, and I currently serve as the director on the Town of Tecumseh Board of BIA. And I've been with the board for about 4 years now, I believe.
Yeah.
Okay. And Jim?
I have just joined the BIA and I'm representing Challenge Engineering Firm.
Awesome. Okay, so the nominations for the position of chair are now open. If anyone wants to nominate.
I'd like to nominate Candace Dennis.
Pick me, pick me.
I would second the nomination.
And I do accept that nomination.
Okay.
I think we need a motion on.
Motion. Okay.
Yeah, you got a seconder, so now you've got discussion, I believe.
Okay, so Candace, you accept that motion or that nomination?
Well, I do accept the nomination. And Paul is seconding that nomination.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
And all in favor?
I
Aye.
Carried.
Awesome.
Thank you. Happy to
All
serve
right.
you guys again.
So that Candace Dennis be appointed as chair of the BIA Board of Management until December 31st, 2021. Carried and approved. So next we've got vice chair nominations. So the position for vice chair is now open for people to nominate.
I nominate Linda Proctor.
Linda,
All
do
right.
you accept that nomination?
I
Are
accept.
there,
Thank you.
and my apologies, guys. Are there any other nominations for vice chair? I'm kind of, we're out of protocol a little bit there, but that's just because I know we've had these conversations.
I just want to say I'm seconding that nomination.
Okay.
All right, Linda, do you accept that nomination as vice chair?
I do. Thank you.
All right, that is the motion. Paul has seconded that. All in favor?
I
Okay, that Linda Proctor be appointed as vice chair of the BIA Board of Management until December 31st, 2021. Approved and carried. So next we've got treasurer nominations.
nominate Paul Bastani as treasurer.
Okay.
Thanks, Jules.
Paul, do you accept that
Pleasure, Paul.
nomination?
Are
I
there,
need a
before,
seconder.
I was just gonna say, I'll second that. Are there any other nominations for treasurer?
Come on.
Great.
Come on.
That was wonderful discussion. Thank you kindly. All in favor of Paul Bastani carrying on with treasurer?
I
All right, that Paul Bastani be appointed as treasurer of the BIA Board of Management until December 31st, 2021. Approved and carried.
Well, thank you all for your continued trust.
thank you.
Agreed.
See, Paul,
Congratulations.
I hurried up and nominated you before somebody nominated me.
We're quick on it, Jules. Okay. And that is our executive board. Moving on to the minutes from last meeting, January 14th. They were included in the package. Has everyone had a chance to review? Are there any questions, comments for discussion? If they look good and there isn't any discussion, a motion to approve those minutes. Thank you, Linda. Any seconders on that?
I wasn't at that meeting, so I'm going to abstain.
I'm
No
going to second
problem.
that.
Oh, thank you, Jules. Again, I don't think there was any discussion around those. All in favor? Carried. Jim, are you participating in these votes? Sorry, I'm not sure if I think I'm hearing Jules and I'm not sure if I'm hearing an aye from you, and I know
Yep,
your camera's off. So
yep.
thank you. And no worries either way. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. And that's carried.
Jim, is your photo working on your phone?
I think so.
I don't have you here. Has anybody else got Jim's photo up or no?
No, it's just his name. It's like Jules. They got their cameras off. We're moving on to supplementary agenda adoption. Hi, Jules. Actually, yeah, I don't want that movement. It'll make me car sick. Andrew, you might be able to help. I believe everything that we're going to bring forward that wasn't included in the package needs to be approved in that supplementary agenda items. For example, we just realized today in review that the outstanding payables weren't included in that package, but we'd like to present them to the board and review them. Is this the time to make that motion to bring those in?
Yes, yeah, it's adoption of the supplementary agenda. So as long as the board consents for it to be added, then as long with a democratic vote, it can be done.
Thank you. I thought so, but it's new to our agenda and I just wanted to be sure. So at this time we do have, let me make sure I'm reading that documentation correctly. We are going to be looking at bringing in the detailed outstanding payables for the treasurer's report. If we could get a motion on that, if anybody minds. I don't putting in the motion if I can. I can get a seconder.
I'll second that.
Thank you, Mr. Bustani. Any discussion around that? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Carried, thank you. So Denise, when we get there, we'll just have you screen share that for us if you don't mind.
Okay.
All right. Okay, so for my report, just sorry guys, just pulling some stuff up. I don't have anything that's going to be coming into the agenda, just items for conversation. And I guess I'll bring this up to the full board in our next meeting. I can't stress enough how important it is that we do need to hear back from our directors. So I know it's tough, we're all busy, but when emails looking for a little direction or input come, it's so very important and key to our operations that we do hear a response, and that we provide some feedback if we're looking for it. Those emails aren't coming for just the sake of it. Denise or whomever is looking for our feedback. And while it's not a board meeting and we're not making motions, the directors around this table are here for their input and to help make the decisions in the proper direction for our board. So I just want to note that, please guys, if we're reaching out, I'd greatly appreciate a response. Even late, I do it too. We're all busy. I wanted to talk a little bit more, Andrew, you might be able to help us about eScribe. And I don't know if it's really about help. I think it's something I'm going to end up following up with Laura on as well, but just kind of wanted to discuss as a board. Are you familiar with eScribe, Andrew?
In the sense that it's been our agenda tool at town council for many years.
Yes, and that's what's been explained to me as well. And I know that over the last few months, it's been a trying experience for Denise to get on board with that. And unfortunately, what we found out was just because she hadn't had the rights was making it very difficult. So fortunately, the town gave us the rights that we needed to use that program. I'm just a little concerned with how much time we may be taking for some of these elements that are for the town's site. And I'd like to talk to Laura a little deeper on that. There's just so much on our plate already, and looking at, to be honest, I can't find the information on the town site. It's so very difficult to find. I'm not sure if there's maybe an easier way to just provide a link back to our website with this documentation where we're already making sure all of this stuff is compliant and meets those regulations. So I don't know. I don't know how familiar any of you are with this. This is just something I'm kind of in the process with, and I have to admit I've left hanging. I have to get back to Laura for further discussion, but it's something that's on my plate that I just wanted to kind of address and bring up with the board and see if there's any feedback or thoughts on that. Denise, I know we've talked about it and unfortunate struggles we've been through with eScribe, and it's not for our site, it's for the town. So I want to look into that a little bit more and just understand that program, the time that it takes for that program, and if there's a way the town could execute that, if that's what they're looking for, or whether we can link back to our site. So I'm working on that a little bit, and I don't know if there's any feedback or conversation that needs to be addressed. It's more just a note for you guys.
Candace, is this something we have to do?
Well, as Andrew mentioned, and that's my understanding of it, this eScribe program is what the town uses. It's a tool for the town and their committees and boards. But we are compliant on our site with the documentation. And so I don't know, Denise, now that we have the access to it, is it still the time consuming efforts it was? And can you tell me a little bit more about the execution of this day to day?
It's more so having to put up like copy and paste what is already on our website on a second site. So it's not insanely time consuming, but it is an extra step that I'm not sure if it's completely necessary by us. I know the town uses it and we're part of the town, but I'm not sure if it's an extra step that we as a need to do, but
I'd like to look into it a bit more. I do understand if it's a tool that the town uses, there's a reason, but it sounds as though it's for the stuff at town site. It'd be nice if that's all it's for, is for crossing over our documentation to theirs. It might be something that they can facilitate for us. Or again, just link, and I don't know if that works, and Andrew, you may be able to speak to that. Like, can we just provide a link back to our website wherever somebody may or may not be looking for this documentation on the town site? I'm actively looking for it and having a very tough time. When I search the BIA, I can find a bunch of eScribe documents, but I can't seem to find a page that has the information on when our board meetings are, or the minutes from our past meetings, or any of the stuff that we provide and are changing all this stuff over for.
Well, yeah, Chair, if you don't mind, I certainly have a couple comments on that. So yeah, I don't think anything's been populated from the BI in the last number of years. This all gets mapped. All the documents reside in a County of Essex server, and there's some programming in the back end that allows the documents to be pulled from the county server, and then they're shown here. So if you were to go to the tecumseh.ca website right now, this meeting is the first item that you see on the calendar. So it's intended to always have dynamic content and to always be up to date in terms of advising residents what's happening in the community. So that's I guess the benefit that that the residents and those who are already familiar with the way the town already operates will be able to find BIA materials. Now, you are a board of management for the BIA. You're not a town created. I mean, you're like under the Municipal Act, the town is there for an accountability measure, but at the end of the day, you're still independent. I don't think there's any legislation saying that you need to be a part of eScribe, but at the same time, could prove to be a valuable tool in terms of making sure the documents are organized and that people can find the upcoming news very quickly. Because any BIA event could also be part of the town's calendar and under the meetings and events heading. So anyone like who's unable to distinguish between going to the Tecumseh town site and the BIA site, if they're going there, they know that they can find what's happening this coming week, then it's a great spot to see it. May not always be distinctive, or it may not be top of mind for someone to go seek out the Tecumseh BIA site because they're not sure who the organizer of that particular event is.
Yep.
So
that makes complete sense, Andrew. I'm curious. I'm just trying to understand how that works. So I found where you're saying where that information was there, and I was able to kind of link back from the homepage to this. So is this page populated through eScribe?
So this is the front end. So yeah, I would say that the documents, et cetera, are populated internally through I haven't used it myself, so I apologize if I'm not describing it properly, but it's sort of like SharePoint or like a team site of sorts where you have a set process that someone has engineered in the back end, where it's okay, you upload your file this way, here's the data you input, and really it's the same process every single time. In terms of additional information, say about the BIA, just the general information, who sits on it, where to find the additional information. For example, if you want a link from the town's website, I can't see that being a problem. There are other committee. There is a general committees page, which should be pointing to the BIA. But if there's actually content that you think warrants its own page for the town site, I don't see an issue with that. So yeah, right now, if you type in Tecumseh BIA, you'll find it at the top of the list on the committees page, and it says it's got a map of the boundary, and it directs to the website, and it gives the dates of the meetings that have already been set. And it's got the list of the committee members as well, so everyone's there. But is this is this something that you could populate? No, this is a page that's all town committees. And you have to really be looking for it for BIA to find it. So having I'd say there's some merit to participating in the calendar tool and for the uploading of the agendas and minutes for the reason being that when it shows up in the calendar, especially today, someone knows exactly where to go. They don't have to think about where to find the link. Anything.
No, I agree. And I will take access to any outside opportunities to drive traffic back, even if it is hidden in a site. I guess and what I'll talk to Laura a little deeper about, my concerns are, I love that. I'll take, the pages as they look, but is eScribe necessary to get that information up there? And what is that process? It's just, unfortunately, after the few months of I'll be honest, the runaround we got with eScribe, and it turned out to be a simple permissions issue on the town where they just kept reassuring. It's caused a little frustration, and I feel like we're feeling a little spent with eScribe. And I just, I want to look at what opportunities are there to take some of those little things, if possible, off Denise's plate. Is there a way that populates without eScribe, or is that simply the way that is? So I'm gonna chat with Laura a little bit more on it. It's my fault that it's taken this long. She has responded back to me, and I've just been absolutely swamped. So I'm gonna get that on my my priority list here.
Yeah, and just to add, if you don't mind, I think this, having it there does address some of the ancillary issues. For example, the accessibility discussion that we had a few months back with eScribe, that it's readable and that it's something that someone who's got visual impairments that is designed for that and satisfying that. So I don't know. I guess it comes down to value. I don't think you're regulated in terms of using it, but as a practice, it might be. I think there's a lot of opportunity there to leverage it so that there's a greater awareness of the BI and what it's doing.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree with that. It's just a matter of trying to, find the things that we need to focus on, and where can we cut down on time that, it's not a resource on our website, but I still want to be there and I want to be present. I want to look for every opportunity that somebody can find us. So it's just something I'm considering at this time. Hi, Brian.
Hello, sorry I'm late.
No worries. What else do I have here, guys? Sorry, I'll try to, actually, this is a question for council. You guys may be able to help. I was having a conversation today with a few of the directors and Denise regarding the parking lot situation. And Paul, you may be able to help speak to some specifics a little more. I can't remember who it was that we were specifically speaking to. And I was more so just looking for some information on, I needed some clarification more so. I was under the impression that there was some compensation provided, and it was discussed that it was either through property taxes or through the BIA levy. And I'm wondering if you guys can confirm or.
Yeah, actually, I mean, we were going to address that in the council report, but I'm really happy to bring it forward today. So this is a situation that came up with the lot in front of Tecumseh Auto Electric. So next to the Buckingham building, what used to be Humble Baker. That property, the owner advised that with the expiration of the lease, he wishes to have new terms, which are significantly more expensive for the municipality than they were in the past. So a discussion ensued about, is this parking lot, something that is essential, or is it needed? Is there utilization? And so this is how the BIA got brought in. It's like, okay, well, I mean, long term, is this a strategic asset that we ought to pay more for, or release it back to the owner of the property, and then we concentrate on the other two lots that are around, for example, the one next to the BIA office and the Legion. With that, I think it's more just a lot of thoughts were coming out as to what the relative value of this was, because right now, The businesses themselves are not, they're, those who rely on it are not, they're not paying the freight for it. It is something that's on the general rate. So if we're going to pay more, or if the general rate is going to pay more towards this asset, is that something that is desirable? I mean, I'm going to go on a limb and say the BI will say yes. Town, please continue to pay no matter what it is. But at the same time, being, the council attempting to be good stewards and fair and equitable in terms of its treatment. Even among the businesses, those who pay for their own parking lots, are they okay with, their taxes paying for someone else's parking lot? I mean, that's just more of a philosophical question, but really, all these thoughts came out at our most recent meeting. The determination was we would send the issue back for consultation with the BIA, as well as with the property owner for potential negotiation, and see what the receptiveness might be for that. So that's where it all comes from. There's certainly no, we're looking for what the best approach is for this particular issue, and is this property needed for to service the business community? And if it is that are the additional costs? Is it something that ought to be borne by the general rate, or is that something that we should approach the businesses about kind of making up the difference for?
What is he looking for?
It was just a second. I can get the specifics in just a moment, but currently the town maintains the does the snow clearing and does the pavement repair. All those costs are on the town. So really, what he's looking for is rent. Currently, it's I believe it's $2,800 range, and he's looking for
what, a month?
For
a year.
The year, and then he's looking for the 6,000 range. So I can get the specific numbers momentarily, but that's generally it. And so that's per. I mean, we pay per space for the town, and incur all the costs inherent with that parking lot. In addition, the parking lot was developed by the municipality, and so a significant investment has been made on a capital basis in the property. So there's a lot of moving parts. Do you walk away from something you put tens of thousands of dollars into? So that's just part of the considerations. And here, I got the specific figures.
Yeah, if I can, he's looking for $1 a day per space, and there's 26 spaces. So it's just over like 9,000 a year, and then we're deducting our 2,500 in snow clearing.
So it comes out to $1 per spot. You're right, Brian. $1 per spot, 26 spots, and he wants to be paid every day, even when it's not being used.
Correct.
Okay, so it works out to $9,490. I'm not sure what the town, what tax relief you were giving him at the time for the past lease, but it seems to me that he's asking for a little bit more than what I'm going to go out on a limb and say what he's entitled to be paid when it's not being used. I don't understand that concept. But like you said, Andrew, with the money that the town's put in and you guys are responsible for the maintenance, I don't understand how he goes out on a limb and all of a sudden he wants substantially more than what you've been giving for the benefit of not just him, but for the surrounding businesses. Where does he come up with the dollar figure in terms of payment?
So just I've got the specific rent paid in the past was so 2020 last year $1,968, year before $1,995, and that includes there's some variation of the taxes. So he's looking for a straight compensation instead of a tax rebate that had been available to him before. So I mean, we don't really know what the accounting reasons are why that's being pursued. But really, it does mean a significantly higher cost to the town than before.
Yeah, without a doubt. So he wants large money, and he wants you guys to keep maintaining it and keep spending the money. So I guess he wants the best of both worlds, right?
Well, I mean, one can ask, and we can do our due diligence and find out whether there's value there or not, and that's really why we wanted to engage in some consultation with the different stakeholders and understand how important this asset is, because we do maintain 2 other lots within walking distance of this one, and are those sufficient for the community? And that's, I guess, just hopefully the stakeholder discussions will give some clarity to that question.
Is it an option for the town to buy the parking lot?
It has not been advanced. I'm not aware of whether it's for sale or whether an offer had been made to that effect. But I know we haven't budgeted for buying that property, that's for sure.
Right. Yeah, and they just to continue with the conversation. So Laura had got a hold of me, and she wanted an idea as to what I thought from a real estate standpoint in the current market conditions what that parking lot was worth. And I quite frankly have never sold a parking lot, so I wasn't really able to give her any kind of a value. But in terms of, correct me if I'm wrong, is that parking lot assessed separately from his building?
I believe, yes. I believe we levy the taxes, the town levies the taxes, and then the rent is just a separate, or the lease is a separate part. That's my understanding.
So if you're chasing a value, and please make sure Laura is aware of this, is that if you're chasing the value, it may start with the assessed value as far as MPAC is concerned, just as a starting point to the whole valuation.
Yeah, and you know what? Who knows that? That might very well be the rationale. If the assessed value has gone up and he just wants to be made whole for that because he's not. Because the value of the land is based on highest and best use, as I understand it, in terms of its market value. So, if that parking lot became a building, that might potentially be the the highest and best use. So, we just don't know, and it hasn't been released as part of the documents that we have received.
So what happens currently? Is the lot able to be used without any interference from the owner?
To date, yes, it remains available. No one's had an issue yet, but I mean, I don't expect that'll continue indefinitely. The lease has ended, and it doesn't appear, and payment is still being made under the former conditions. So we shall see how this ends up, but it is something we all need to resolve, within the next couple of months.
Thank you, guys. Okay, that's all I have. I'm going to speak more to the committees, but we'll move on here for now to the treasurer's report. Mr. Bistani.
Okay, thank you, Madam Chair. Everybody has a copy for the period ending January 31st, 2021. Our current bank balance stood at $2,615.23. Outstanding checks, which I believe, Denise, you're going to make us aware of, the outstanding balances. What you have there, you can pursue those in terms of payment with text help, payment to Lacoste, payment to Ocean Bottom, second payment to Ocean Bottom, a payment to the Ontario BIA Association, and to our coordinators pay. No, pardon me, coordinators 2172. Denise, that was for
mileage.
Okay. All right. So you have your outstanding receivables, outstanding checks, pardon me. So the BIA ledger balance stood at $1,170.60. Our reserve account, again, as of January 31st, was $86,254.69 with a little bit of accrued interest. It brings it to 86,379.22. Outstanding receivables, which we were just made aware of. Share capital from WFCU, $85, $60, $10 respectively. BIA petty cash stood at $651.05. Prepaid expenses and deposits of $2,333.27. Total BIA current assets of $90,689.14. Excuse me. Current outstanding Tecumseh dollars of $28,035. Other BIA liabilities and equity of $62,654.14, bringing us back to total liabilities and equity of $90,689.14 as of January 31st, 2021. That is my
Great.
report.
Thank you, Paul. Does anybody have any questions, remarks, discussion regarding the treasurer's report? Motion to approve? Linda, thank you. Second?
I'll second it.
Thank you, Jules. All in favor?
All right.
Carried. Thank you.
Thank you.
Back to the agenda here. Denise, you're up with the coordinator's report.
All right, so we've got some new members in our BIA. So new businesses, we've got Junction Box. Do you guys want me to say the addresses, or you've got them there with you?
I've got it in front of me. I don't know.
Good.
I think you're good. Yep.
If anyone wants me to clarify, just let me know. Genki Sushi Noodle, and they're going to be having a grand opening on Monday, February 22nd at 2 p.m.
We got a confirmation email on that, right? I think that came out.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we sent out an email. I'm going to post on our social media so more people know about it. But internally, we've sent out a notice for it.
Perfect. Just be mindful. I don't know. I guess posting it's fine. I want us to be mindful of kind of how we're driving traffic during still these times, right? So just kind of be mindful of whatever verbiage we're using. But of course, we want to let people know that they're opening or that they're having a grand opening. Yeah.
Absolutely. Just to make them aware that they're there.
No, yeah, I'm on board with that.
All right. And then members preparing to open, we've got Hurry Curry, Zara Designer Boutique, Oven 360, Imperial Gifts and Decor. They're going to be having their grand opening on April 1st. Endermere, Unique Gallery and Coffee Shop. So we've got a few new ones. Members preparing to close. It's not so close, more so moving. Pete's Pipes, is moving to 11962 Tecumseh Road East, next to where Closet Cravings used to be, as opposed to where they were on L'Esperance. And Amlo's Pizza, they're not moving, their business is just up for sale.
Yeah, they're not preparing to, just as a point of interest, they're not preparing to close.
No, it's just a side note. I can move that in the minutes here, but
yeah.
Okay, so they're just selling the business, but they plan to keep it operational.
That's
yeah.
correct.
We had some
name? What's the same name?
Yeah, we had some inquiries because people saw for sale signs thinking that it was going to close, but just to clarify, they're still open.
They're still open. Okay, good.
Yeah. Current status and total number of members by sector. So January versus 2021. So grand total, we had 613. Now we've got 622. Total members able to vote, we had 610 in January, and now we've got 622. Associate membership programs. This is kind of exciting. We have 2 new associate members on board. We've got Moni Hair Boutique. She's at 1825 Manning Road. One Source Moving Solutions, they're at 425 Leffler. And then there's another one that's in the works right now, Crossroads Canine Academy and Day Camp. They're on 284 East Pike Creek Road. So we've got 2 new ones and 1 payment on the way. So we've got three new ones, and we've got the 4 that have been for a while.
Nice. I'm happy to see that. You know, I'd like to see that program grow more. And even as we talk about, you know, the kind of St. Clair Beach area and that, you know, who knows what may or may not come of what they're trying to do. So sweet, thank you.
Yeah, I was excited to see the new ones. And so social media wise, Facebook in January, we had 1,458 followers. Now we've got 1,534. Instagram, we had 417. Now we've got 500. Twitter, we had 535. Now we've got 548.
That's fantastic. Our social media, I've been loving to see, and because I get all the notifications for everything, seeing all the shares and commenting, and even of our members sharing and getting involved in that, I'm happy to see that.
Yeah, it's been exciting. It's been fun too. A lot of people are having fun with it, members and members of the community as well. So
the videos, the interviews were a great idea. I really like those.
Oh, awesome. I'm glad. It's just to help people realize that there's places that are still open.
Yeah.
So to touch on that, the quarantine questionnaires, I filmed 31 videos. So those will be released a little bit here and there throughout the month of February and March.
Great.
Just to show people that they're still open, how you can still access their products and services during COVID. Our late night, date night giveaway that we just did, we were posting all about it in January to promote it. We had $1,500 worth of giveaways, which was awesome. We had 30 giveaways. We've promoted and shared a bunch of posts, weekends and nights during the week as well, included in that from all of our members on all Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter platforms. We called around to see if people had anything going on for Valentine's Day all throughout the month of January, and put together an ad to show people that there were still sales going on and how they can access those sales during COVID for Valentine's Day. So that helped promote some of our members. And Gallery Without Walls, I've been posting about that on platforms and our website.
How's that? What's feedback like so far?
So feedback is pretty good. We've had a couple of entries just from people in the community, but I've reached out to the school boards to see if they can spread the word to their schools to get their kids to do it. And so far it's been going well.
Great.
We haven't received any entries from the schools just yet, but that word has just been spread recently. So
and our Gallia is on board as well again this year, so
Yes.
We'll see that. I'm anxious to see what comes through. So
Yeah.
the artwork looks great on it. I like it.
Yeah, so she just started back up with her in-person classes yesterday, so we're hoping to get some of those entries soon. And then as for HST rebate, nothing at this time. And that's all for me.
Thank you, Denise. Anybody have any? Oh, Councillor Houston.
Thank you. Just on the note of associate memberships, I sit on the intermunicipal committee with Lakeshore, and we in our first meeting there was a little bit of discussion just about the two BIAs, and I know all along we've talked about the Amy Croft area. So in the committee, I think it goes back about 2 weeks now, we received a presentation from Lakeshore, and they have recently hired an economic development officer. He's previous from the Windsor Economic Development Corp. So Ryan Donnelly is now their ECDev officer. He made a presentation just regarding a couple options and things. So there will be some consultation coming down the road of, you know, what some potential options might be, what the interest is. You know, is it something that, Tecumseh and Lakeshore kind of do jointly? Is it something that they create their own? Is it a intermunicipal boundary type BIA, or some kind of joint venture type thing to support that area? So it certainly, it's not going to happen overnight. There'll be a bunch of consultation and opportunity for feedback and such just regarding the area. So Just
Yeah.
wanted to make you aware, and you know, the CAOs have it, you know, with them right now. So
Mhm.
it could be something we'll see maybe later on this year, but you know, depending on work plans and things. So just to bring it to your attention.
Thank you. Yeah, I know we've actually discussed this a little bit and touched on it in the last few meetings. And I know, you know, we've said for a long time, it's that interesting pocket that it'd be nice to get more involved with. And if I'm not mistaken, areas like that are kind of how we started the associate membership, really. I remember Paul quite a while back talking to, you know, that group, those developers and stuff, they're talking about what we could do to create or get involved with them. So I'm anxious, like you said, Brian. I know it's a work in progress, and you know there'd be some back and forth, but it's been one of those areas that's so commonly mistaken for Tecumseh for so long. We've seen members or people try to use Tecumseh dollars in those areas, and it's just so close to us. I'm anxious to see what some of those recommendations look like and how things kind of evolve from there. Thanks. Okay, moving on to the council report. I believe there's been 2 meetings that are included, and has everybody had a chance to review those? Because I'd love to be able to get through those relatively quickly. I think we've all had a chance to review those, Andrew. I don't know out of those 2 meetings if there's anything that you know, stands out for review or notice for the board.
Well, I mean, we've had the 2 meetings, but we've also had the budget. So, I mean, the main things from the meetings that I would highlight would be that the OPP has been renewed. The rationale for that renewal is that there's going to be a change in the process. The contract will end, and we're going to get a new framework that the OPP will operate under. So while we're with them for 3 years, that's more of an expected time frame. It could be shorter than that. So with that, that may prompt a discussion as to whether we continue with the OPP or not. And we just don't know what the legislation will be and what the governance model will be following the reform. Another item is the 100th anniversary of the town and the fire service. I would expect that BI might get a call about, hey, would you like to be a part of this? It's going to be municipality wide, but really it's celebrating the centennial of the founding of the former town of Tecumseh, and it's intended to include the other former municipalities as well. But it's an opportunity to really get history involved, maybe longstanding businesses. That's planned for 2022. Nothing's happened with it yet, but it's certainly early enough. We can get we can have you jump on board if you want to be a part of that event. It's certainly one where there will be a lot of stakeholders.
That sounds really interesting. I think that's a great idea for the entire community, and I'm into that. Like you said, lots of history. That sounds like a really unique event.
Yeah, and we'll see how it comes out. But really, St. Clair Beach Centennial didn't get celebrated, and Tecumseh's was this year, so felt, what, post-COVID, great opportunity to just start to recognize our collective history.
Yeah.
So another big one is actually that the town got life cycle, or we got federal funding, which was intended for a high water rescue vehicle, even though it didn't actually go to that. But anyway, that's kind of a longer story. But end result is federal funding came in and was applied to something else that freed up funds that allowed the town to invest in a high water rescue vehicle. And that is for the areas north, really the flood prone areas closest to the lake, which includes certainly our little business district at Riverside and L'Esperance. So in the event of a major coastal flooding event, that a vehicle will be available to come and help to evacuate people, to just try to limit the impact as much as possible. So that was a big buy, $210,000, but certainly one that was felt to be worthwhile. So the next night was our budget, 2.46% tax rate increase. So that's down from what was originally estimated, which was just north of 3%, mostly due to larger than estimated assessment growth. So we had a successful 2020, despite the pandemic in the community. We had more land development and more economic growth than had been predicted. So that was good news. It was allowed the rate to stay lower than it would have otherwise gone. But the main drivers behind it are capital costs. Not operating costs were generally flat, but COVID expenses that really led to, both on the revenue side, the loss of revenue, increased cleanliness protocols, and just limited access, but more operating costs resulting from the limited access because you have to keep something going longer than in the past. Those are all contributing factors, but a big chunk was over $500,000 was towards building more, predominantly on the stormwater front. So helping to pay for the new pumping stations that are going to be constructed near Riverside Drive. So that was pretty significant. The main thing that touches on the BIA boundaries would be Manning Road. That's happening this year. The Manning projects to fill in the East Town Line drain and divert the stormwater through Lakewood Park. So that had been long delayed. It's actually happening this year. There's nothing else in the way, or at least I hope. So the Manning Road will be improved all the way to Riverside Drive with a gateway feature, basically a center island with light standards, and the road will be it'll look a lot different than it does today, with roundabouts at both Little River and St. Thomas. So that pretty much sums up the budget, but I'm happy taking questions on that one. And beyond that, we met just the other night. Well, we met 3 times. So we met on the 26th as well. Okay, let's see, just skimming through. We got a sense of the economic conditions once again from tax arrears. There were more total tax arrears in 2020, but the value of those arrears was less. So it's kind of an interesting scenario that even though more people are falling behind due to loss of revenue and loss of assets, they're still paying their bills. They're just a bit more behind, but more people are paying their bills, if that makes any sense. And the amount being paid towards bills is increasing. So I'd say it's kind of even at best, but we're not in a worse condition in terms of tax arrears. We're actually in a better condition. There were some radar speed surveys found that speeding was found on northbound Manning Road between Riverside and Little River, eastbound Riverside between Grace and Centennial, and Tecumseh Road outside of the water tower. So there's pretty significant speeding found in those areas, and those were referred to the OPP for action. And most recently, February 9th, let me just skim through again. There's a community safety and well-being plan. There will be a consultation with all stakeholders. Hopefully you got the invite. Saturday, February 27th, 10 o'clock to 11:30. So that's a provincial mandate. All municipalities in Ontario have to have this community safety and well-being plan to look at our social conditions and how to best provide those kinds of services that residents rely upon, the policing, social work, and just having a community that is able to serve human needs.
I'm sorry, Andrew, did you say that invitation would have been extended?
It ought to have been. If not, I can certainly send the information.
If you wouldn't mind sending it. Did you get it, Linda?
Yeah, I got it today.
Okay, then I might have gotten it and just haven't gotten to it yet. So my apologies.
Okay. Yeah, we spoke earlier about the parking lot. Don't need to get too much more in there, but basically what wasn't mentioned was it's a 50-50 cost right now in terms of maintenance and in terms of the, what is the 50? It's 50-50 to 63-37 in terms of the share of the cost. So that gives a sign of how different it is. Skyline apartment buildings. That's right on the edge of the community's boundaries, but Tecumseh at Southfield. That is, they're building 2 new buildings behind the existing. They're supposed to be state of the art, energy efficient. There's going to be a few amenities. They've deleted the pickleball court, but they've added an amenity building. And they're going to be building a new trail to connect Arbor with Southfield. So they are going to be moving full steam ahead. So bringing more bodies into the CIP area when it's all said and done. Wasn't nearly enough to save the TD branch, as I understand it, but hopefully someone else will move in there soon. We also had a report on food and organic waste management. So in other places, this is the green bin program. Tecumseh is not required under provincial legislation to offer a curbside compost service, but it is being looked at all the same on a regional basis. So we may see that service introduced in our area. Either way, there will be some sort of disposal location set for organics. Under the legislation. We just don't know at this point in time whether it'll be curbside collection or if you'll have to deliver it elsewhere.
Like depot, yeah.
And beyond that, I think anything of interest to the BIA has been covered.
Thank you, Andrew. Any questions?
I have one question, Madam Chair. Andrew, the improvements that under the capital projects, the improvements at Les Bronx Road and the Via Rail track.
Yep.
What are they doing?
So the railway tracks at that location were part of a federal mandate to be investigated to see if the visibility and the sight lines were okay.
Right.
And they were found to be deficient. So we have to go and invest and elevate that intersection so that the grades are a bit more flat. So that's what that project is all about.
So they're going to lower it? Is that the idea?
No, I think it would be raised.
They're going to raise it. Okay.
Yeah, so that will probably require the adjustments of say the max driveway. But yeah, it's normally it's raised, so it's instead of being more like a tent, it's just more spread out. It's just a flatter slope.
Okay, thank you.
But that's a national mandate. It's we're not the only ones. There are many locations that have to be done. Just got to follow the rules as they're set.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to committee reports. I'll let me pull up my notes here. Yes.
I have a question.
Yes.
In alignment with the 100-year anniversary, is there a business in Tecumseh that's been around 100 years or close to, so we can kind of signal that? Or
I'm not sure, but I like the direction you're going. If not that, there might be some sort of way to tie long-standing members, in there. I like where your head is at. We'll save, that kind of plan. We'll see what happens. We haven't heard anything on it yet, but as we do, yeah, you never know what opportunities might be there. And depending on the other, municipalities and areas that come on board, or not quite municipalities, but we might be able to work with other BIAs depending on how this extends. But I like where you're going. I like where your head's at. I'm not sure if we've got anybody 100 years, but it's worth looking into.
Cool.
Thank you. Okay, sorry, just trying to pull up my notes on committees here, guys. I won't have a ton on these reports as there hasn't been a whole lot on the go, but The marketing committee actually has, you know, a little bit more feedback, and largely because we also need to talk. So I'm going to, just as a heads up for the marketing committee, I'll probably be in touch in the next week. As things are opening back up, I'd like to try to, as best we can, come up with an execution plan, at least in the immediate, to perhaps look at some subsidized advertising opportunities or some different initiatives that might help our benefit our local businesses. As a matter of fact, Denise, don't let me talk about some of the requests from the members. Don't let me forget that.
Okay.
So just an update, Eyes on Tecumseh, thank you for sending that most recent one, Denise. That continues, and it's just a cost-effective, great way to keep kind of providing our previous Ask the Experts feature with our Eyes on Tecumseh. As you know, most of the other areas are on hold in terms of marketing, but I look forward to, as we're kind of opening back up, and I don't want to speak too soon because we don't know what anything's going to look like. It's not that I want to rush into any decisions with regards to marketing for the membership. I think, Denise, you've been doing a great job at kind of coming up with some, you know, free opportunities through our social media that's actually, you know, benefiting the members and us as a platform. I think it's been a great way to connect with people and our members together without traditional marketing concepts. But I'd like to start looking at a few things, especially, you know, I think we've got quite a few publications looking at trying to incentivize our options. And, you know, if the budget is there and members are open, what can we do to help continue to support them? So, you know, I'll keep you guys posted as we meet again and the marketing committee chat some more on some upcoming initiatives to keep things rolling. While I'm on that, more membership committee, so we'll go on to that here. My apologies. Of course, we don't have much in terms of the membership committee with Tecumseh dollars. We will have some fun updates for your next meeting, I'm sure, because in the short period of time we've been back and selling them, they've been rocking. But with regards to the membership, Denise has been getting a few requests and members looking at, as we are reopening, what support may the BIA provide or not with regards to you know, signage and stickers. And Denise, were you able to find any information based on some of the last things we did, and we can, you know, maybe look at the opportunity of seeing what's there? And I just wanted to kind of discuss it with the board as a whole first. It's always such a difficult time, and I want to think positive. I don't want to think that we're going to get back into another lockdown. We've got to do what's right for the members and where we're at right now. We do have some, you know, looking for some support on reopening, and so I don't think it would go to waste through looking at another order. What did we do last time, Denise?
So last time we ordered 50 of each sign. We had 3 different signs made. So we had the door decals, we had the sanitization ones. So the door decals were for wearing a mask, and then we had the sanitization ones, and we also had the 6 feet apart signs. So we had 3 different signs, but we found a way last time that we ordered these to merge the masks and the social distancing into one sign to save money and space. So we only ordered 2 different signs last time in 50 of each, as opposed to the first time we ordered these, we ordered 3 different signs, 50 each. So if we were to reorder those, I honestly don't think we need 50 this time.
Agreed.
Back in December, I handed out over 200 COVID care kits, and I'm pretty sure those signs are still being used. So we've only had about maybe 6 to 10 businesses reach out that didn't get them. I'm sure there's going to be more once the word spreads, but I don't think it's going to be enough to warrant 50.
I'm also wondering though, if, you know, there's a few options, we could go at it a little differently, and rather than saying to the membership, hey, we've got these, let us know if you want one, but rather, are you interested in signage? And I think Jeff can usually turn stuff around relatively quick for us. It's not like they'd be waiting 3 weeks for stuff. We could maybe say, you know, let us know, see what the feedback looks like, and then accommodate for those members. You can still get a few extra. you know, the specifics you and I can kind of nail down and look at the budget. I guess I just wanted some feedback from the board, as, you know, business owners and, you know, operators around the table, and what's your feedback? Do you think that looking at the current signage, do you have any thoughts in your own mind of what might be coming with this new reopening? Linda?
I'm just wondering, the businesses that have been calling you, Denise, are they asking for anything in specific?
The two specifically that reached out to me in the past 2 to 3 days were looking for the social distancing one, because now that they're reopening and people are allowed inside, they want those. There's been 2 or 3 that have asked for a sign that has interchangeable numbers. So because now you're how we're able to do that, or how Jeff would be able to do that, because now you're only allowed a certain amount of people, but each store is different. So each different stores can have 3 people, 6 people, 10 people. So those aren't really realistic signs. I'm not too sure if we can find a way around that.
Are they looking for, I'm just thinking right now, I mean, we could create something. Do you think they're looking for true signs when it comes to that? Or could we create a printable send out, or let BIA members know that, you know, we've got 8.5 by 11 signs, maybe, you know, or we get them printed at Jeff. It doesn't matter either way, but something very simple that just has, they write in their own number. If you'd like to take 3 of these, if they're super cost effective, because we're not looking at Coroplast signs, you know, maybe we're just looking at a general cardstock print, or even just regular paper, and they just write in, that might be something that's not subsidized, but hey, here you go. Because print costs are going to be minimal on something if we're just looking at like a regular printed piece of paper. What do you guys
used to be able to go to the dollar store and get a sheet of the plastic circles that we would use them for garage sales. And if they had that, then they could peel them off and put, if today they only allow 5 in the store, then put a 5 on it. And next week,
that's right. How they want to do it is up to them, but we can get with the blank spot that, you know, is just a simple sign. You know, I don't know if we need, I love all these ideas. I think it'll be relatively easy to hit the ground running and come up with a few concepts. I just, is there anything else that stands out? That was a good question, Linda, because I like that idea of that sign, and that could work for everyone. And we could really do that on the low. I mean, we could even just do that to get started if we wanted as a printable, hey, here's a sign. If you guys want to just print this in-house, we've got some here for you to pick up, and it's just for your door. You know, it's just an opportunity for us. But are there any other ideas that might stand out as something we might want to bring to the membership?
Okay. I think people right now, from like what they're inquiring about, is they're trying to look for, because they know this thing is probably going to stick around for the rest of the year. So I think they're looking for something that's going to have longevity, as well as a professional looking sign, as opposed to the ones that they have in their window right now with permanent marker that aren't professional.
That's right. Okay, Denise, I'm going to mark this down. We're going to chat on this by end of week, and maybe come up with a few sign concepts. I don't think this is going to be a big spend. This is just more of an FYI for the board. We're definitely within budget on these things, but we'll look at some opportunities. Keep in mind that, you know, we're looking for some ideas on what might be beneficial. If you guys see something in a business or in another area that, you know, wow, that looks like a good idea, please keep us posted. You know, the more we can continue to help them, especially as we open back up. So Denise, I'll follow up with you on this. We'll brainstorm a few ideas. We'll follow up with Jeff and maybe get some turnaround times and see what we could do. Maybe going the route of sending out a blast before putting in an order might be a way to go more immediate, so that we can hit the ground while it's, well, I want to say running and while it's hot, but I feel like this is so important now, 4 months from now. So I think they'll need us regardless, but I'll follow up with you on that. If you guys think of anything else, let me know. Okay, going through committee reports, too many things open. Streetscaping, I got really nothing to discuss or new at this time there. Denise spoke to the banner contest, so that's really all we've got for events. As well, governance committee. I'm still working with Paul and Denise and Linda on. I hope I didn't miss anybody on that. I got to check my email thread on the MOU. And guys, once again, I think I left it somewhere. There was some back and forth. We were looking at some of those comparable MOUs and getting some ideas. Unfortunately, everybody's schedules are crazy. I don't know how it's possible that things have felt so shut down, but I feel busier than ever. But we've got to just make the time. I really want to get to this. But as I expressed, Leslie had followed up with me that, you know, we'll get there. I don't want to rush it, but at the same time, it's important. We're just looking at some comparables and I want to make some changes and meet again. So that committee continues to work on the MOU. It is not forgotten. I think that's all I've got for committee reports. Under unfinished business, we're going to defer at this point. It's the strategic plan and beautification projects at this time. We'll defer those two conversations. While I would love to start talking beautification projects, more than not, ideas are always welcome, but I think we've just got a few other things we need to get off with us just opening back up and a few things behind us, but anxious to talk about that and set some projects in place and set some specifics for the reserves as well. Under new business, really quickly, keeping you guys updated on copier proposal. And I want to make sure everybody knows that we're above board. But of course, now that I'm in that world and industry, I've dug a little deeper into what our rates are and what we have. And so looking at some competitive options from Advance. I've got a few different fleets and lines there that we're looking at. Kelcom's chatting with us. I'm going back and forth. It's been a tough year because print is not typical, our usage is not typical, what we've been using is not typical. So I'm going to go back. I want to talk to Marty about providing me with our meter reads on the last few years to maybe give us a better idea of what our needs are going to be moving forward, what our averages look like on color and black and white, so that we can look at the best opportunities for the board. I am not making that decision. I am also not the person representative on the account. Ron Cruinch is one of my salespeople, but he's been kind of working through me, and I've been gathering information from Kelcom as well and providing that to the executive board. So the nice thing is that both options that I feel like we're kind of, or Linda and Paul are narrowed down to. I can't speak for sure. There's still some information I have to send back, but they're very competitive and absolutely within the budget, which is nice. So we're not looking at anything that's too overwhelming. But Denise, if you continue, I would suggest tomorrow contact them and get a service call in for some of the issues. One of the things we noticed too is that I wasn't aware, but we were having a lot of service issues and we are on a service agreement. So I've been reminding Denise that if there's anything down, both with our machine currently and moving forward, that's my recommendation, that we continue on a service agreement. Brian?
Thank you. Well, one thing I think the board should also take a look to, just because I come from this world as well. So, you know, it'd be interesting to see exactly what the usage is, but I don't know if, because the usage is, you know, low, you know, if buying a multifunction printer outright and just, you know, printing, you know, buying the toner as required rather than, you know, looping yourself into a service agreement. I mean, it's a decision for the board to look at, but, you know, rather than just looking at, you know, what it is in a service agreement, I'd really encourage you to take a look at just a multifunction printer, you know, does everything that you're going to need to do. So, you know, you should
I'll
have
jump
those
in there
three.
too, Brian. You're absolutely right. So it's part of the conversation is purchase price versus lease. The current one we have right now was purchased outright, but was stayed on a service agreement. So that option is obviously there, and we've looked at, or I've provided that information as well. There was something else you spoke to. Yes, looking at, just to keep you guys posted, MFP options without the fax. The fax board doesn't seem to be necessary in the conversations I've had with Denise and Paula on what's been used over the last few years. And looking at something obviously that I think we can print. If you guys are on board with that, it's what I think we should still require is a unit that can still print 11 by 17, because I think, you know, fingers crossed, businesses stay open, whether we get back to the traditional event world or not. I think that there's some opportunity for, you know, just a little bit of print on that level. But yeah, I don't disagree with you. I think that that's absolutely an option as well. And all of our quotes, everything that's been received is both purchase price and lease options for us. If you have any recommendations or suggestions, please, if there's something you want to send over to Linda or Paul, they're the ones reviewing the proposals.
Yep. Yeah, I could, you know, make some machine recommendations, but yeah, I mean, I'm happy to, you know, review anything that is, you know, being presented. So.
Yeah. Thank you. The nice thing is too, you know, it's one of the things I don't think, as you said, Brian, we print so little. Even with our 1,000 covered copies, we're not coming close. It's $15. So we're not in a position that we need to rush any decisions and get something new in there right away. And that's the other option, whether we want to look at new or used. So there's a few different things that can be discussed there, but I just wanted to make sure that I discussed it with you guys, and that the decision is not being made by myself. I'm simply aiding with some recommendations, and Brian, your input's welcome there as well.
Okay, thank you.
Tecumseh Dollars Execution Plan 2021 is on this agenda under new business, and I missed that, Denise. Is there a reason, or I thought we were all wrapped up with how the execution's going to work? Is there anything I may have missed, or?
I think it was more so how the town wanted to know how it was going to work. I think that's why I put it there, but I think we have it down pat, and it's been discussed with.
Just to make sure, the directors that are around the table, council, is everybody, Paul, I know we spoke to it today as well. Is everybody in full understanding of how we're executing Tecumseh Dollars for this year?
Yep,
Our
absolutely.
limit's at 12.5 a month. And again, when we're sold out of that, we're sold out of that, and we'll be available again next month. Denise?
The one note I did want to make on that, and I'm remembering now why I put that down. After speaking with the town, they were suggesting that when we pay out businesses, when we redeem Tecumseh Dollars, to put a limit on how much we're paying out with petty cash and what limit we pay out with check. So if it's $100 and under that they're asking for, we pay out petty cash. The rest is check. So I just wanted to double check with you guys. Especially,
why that recommendation comes, or what?
Because Tecumseh Dollars is such a liability when it comes to finances. They said it would be easier to track it that way. And keep track of the finances by putting a limit on how much we pay out with petty cash as opposed to checks. So there's going to be a lot more checks coming in the future than there is just paying out petty cash. So
I would agree. That's the best way to track what we're actually paying out, and it's good for us too, because if somebody says, you know, they didn't redeem them or whatever happened, it's good just to have it on, you know, a good paper trail.
Yeah, I hadn't considered that side of things, and actually, Jules, you're right. If they ever, because while we track it in-house as well, where's the proof outside of us putting that in a booklet or saying something? So that written check allows a little protection that it's already been paid out.
And it also eliminates any doubt that there would be any type of, say, money laundering or anything like that.
Yeah. I also made it clear to the town too that there's 2 or 3 businesses in our BIA that can't take check. So those are going to have to be an exception if they request Tecumseh dollar redemption over $100 by paying it out petty
Yep.
cash.
And we'll cross that bridge. I mean, how many, I don't know, but how many businesses are redeeming super large funds that wouldn't take a check, you know?
Right.
For those few businesses, we'll cross those bridges as they come. I'm comfortable with that.
Okay.
I would argue any business that can't take a check. There's questionable reasons there.
I agree with that, Jules.
Yeah.
I agree with that. So, you know, we'll see. We'll cross that bridge as it comes. Especially Denise, if there's anybody whoever says that they're here to redeem Tecumseh dollars or and it's a large sum and they don't take a check, let's chat on that.
Okay.
Let's throw up the flag.
Yeah. Yeah.
$1,000, you know, in redemption.
Not happening, sorry.
Yeah. And this way is better too, because it saves me from having to, well, now that, you know, the Tecumseh dollars program is up and running again, it saves me from having to run out to the bank every day and leave the office as opposed to.
Yeah, I think it streamlines it, keeps everything secure, protects everyone involved. I think it was a good recommendation and.
Yeah.
Okay, sweet. I guess that's why that's on there. We discussed the MOU briefly, and for those helping me out with that, I will be in touch. The next meeting is the 3rd Wednesday of March, which is going to be the 17th. Oh, Patty's. Fun. Yeah. Is there any other questions, discussion, conversation, consideration before we look at a motion to adjourn?
Green beer at the next meeting?
Yeah.
No one has to see as long as it's out of the. Maybe I'll put a little headband on. All right, guys. In that case, motion to adjourn.
Make that motion.
Thank you, Paul. Seconded by, I believe your hand is up there, Linda.
Yep.
All in favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Carried. See you guys in a few weeks.
All right.
Thanks.
Have a good night, everyone.
Have a good night.
Bye, guys.